Hey, Will. Hey, Kev, how you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well. How about yourself, Mike?
Good, good. Welcome Monday afternoon, Labor Day. Happy Labor Day.
Yes. Gotta be
Happy,
grateful for every holiday, that's for sure.
say it again.
Gotta be grateful for every holiday, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great day. It's beautiful here in Chicago today too.
I know. I'm tempted to get out to the beach. So after we
Yeah.
finish up this live, I may be headed out.
I'm thinking about taking a walk myself. So maybe you have a bicycle?
No bicycle. I'm
You
a
know, maybe
car
we'll
guy.
have to meet over there or something. We'll go grab some lunch or something.
That'd be cool. I'm down for that.
Anyhow, hey, welcome everybody. I don't know if anybody is jumping on right now or not. However, we'll be recording this and then we'll post it. I'll get you a copy as well, Kevin. But I'm Mike Morawski, the founder of My Core Intentions, and I'm joined today by my good friend and partner, Kevin Dugan with Altus Construction and Investments. And we're here to talk today about private equity, syndications, strategic partnerships, and great alliances. And how we go about doing that. You know, what's really been interesting, Kevin, is that over the years, I've actually been in real estate and real estate investing for 30 years. You know that, and
Yep.
over the years, I've done thousands of deals. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in volume, millions of dollars in private equity raised. And what's been interesting is that years ago, you used to do everything yourself. So you found the deal, you underwrote it, you did the due diligence, you put it together, you got the bank financing, you closed it, you operated it, you did everything yourself, your group, your little team. Today, it's cooler because you bring partners together. And so that's what we did. We decided to work together and partner on a deal. We brought a couple other people in, and I think it's been great because we build these strategic alliances that
Definitely.
that people can really benefit from. And here's what I learned from a guy a long time ago, and I'll shout out to Chad Coe because he taught me how to really strategically put people together, be a connector. He's a great connector, loves putting people together, and that's what I learned from him. And it's been great because I've been able to connect you with people. You've connected me with people. I've connected other coaching clients with people, and we brought this strategic alliance together. We actually have a key principle in our group that we got connected with somebody else and came to the table and have put together this great partnership right now and working towards getting our first 40 unit apartment deal done.
Yeah, I'm pumped about that. I mean, you have so many great points in there. I mean, I've been in business for almost 10 years now, just in the real estate space. And really, that's one of the beauties of this industry, the people in general. Everything about it is human related, from the tenants who live in the homes, the contractors and vendors who help, bring the property to life, the actual management team that executes on the business plan, and then the investors that help with some of the financing. So it's cool that you bring that, couple of decades of experience to the table, and you've seen the changes of where it's been and where it is now. The game is different than it was a little while ago, but I do believe that if you put together the right teams that have complementary skill sets, it allows you to accomplish way more than you could on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. What's kind of interesting is I said to you the other day, I said, hey, I have this new toy. You want to jump on and do this LinkedIn Live?
Yep.
And, it's just another one of those means of getting information out, putting content out there and talking to people about what's going on and helping educate people. I think that's one of the biggest things that you and I both do is that we like to help other people get some information, get some knowledge, grab a little education that will help them grow their business
Yeah.
or help them see something a different way. One of the things I think over the years is I've really learned that you have to be open-minded. I heard a long time ago, somebody said, hey, the mind's like a parachute. If it's not open, you're going to crash.
It's a good
So
analogy.
true. So
Yeah.
true.
I mean, I remember from like psychology classes back in the day, like the mind is also like has plasticity to it. So, when you're growing, when you're stimulating it, it has the ability to expand way further than you can imagine if you just kind of stick in that fixed mindset. And I think both of us are strongly of that growth mindset, that abundance mindset, which education is a critical component of that to help people realize things that they haven't seen, open up a lifestyle that they didn't know was possible. But it's something that almost anybody can get into. Real estate is very tangible for almost anybody in different forms, shapes, and sizes. So here we're talking about multifamily. Both of us have plenty of experience in other asset classes as well within real estate, but educating is a critical component to what I believe in.
Yeah, for sure. So here's what I want to ask you. You said you've been in real estate now for about 10 years. And you just kind of alluded to it, that real estate's an easy space for people to get into no matter what your background is. So what did you do before real estate?
Yeah, so my journey really began by reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think so many people, eyes were opened up to the world of business and finance by reading that book and realizing there's different ways to live life. You don't have to follow the traditional corporate route. And I actually did follow a corporate route prior to this real estate lifestyle. Actually, I bootstrapped real estate on the side through my W-2 earnings to be able to get where I am today. My particular journey was a little all over the place. College, I kind of funneled into a biology major thinking that I wanted to become a dentist or a psychologist or what's it called, a pharmacist, and realizing that's not the path for me by any means. So entrepreneurship and real estate was it. Jump into a sales background, worked in technology sales for a little bit, and then now I'm full-time real estate professional.
Nice. Good for you. And how's your journey been? I know that, and some people might know you, some people on this platform might not know you. So your journey's really been in single family. And talk about that a little bit. Talk about that single family thing. And then when we met, how you really got excited about the transition from that space into the multifamily space.
Yeah, so my background is residential rental properties, all remote. So I'm originally an investor from California. I'm currently in Illinois to help run the business directly. So it was remote for a long, long time, but then forced to come out here for better, to make sure that I find the right people. And that's what you start to realize. It is people that make a business successful. You can run things remote for a long, long time, but when it comes to real estate, a lot of it is brick and mortar to a certain extent. So I own a small management company, a small construction company, and a small investment side where we sell residential turnkey product. And for the longest time, I didn't have the bandwidth to jump into the multifamily because I didn't have the right people in place. And that's a really tricky thing where you see the beauty of that space in terms of another asset class that can have a lot of value, diversification, forced appreciation, strong tax write-offs, but you can't jump into it because your current business, I would say, wasn't quite in the position to allow me to free up time. So Mike, you've been super gracious to, provide a lot of insight and experience on how to run a better property management company, how to delegate to additional team members. So it's been nice to free up time to jump into the space that I really believe in. In fact, I just generally believe in real estate investing as a whole.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Kevin, you don't have to be shy and say you just wanted to move closer to your coach for the summer.
I know, right? It's the perfect time to make it out to Chicago. Weather's been beautiful. People are vibrant. The food's incredible out here. There's still some rough edges every once in a while, but it's an amazing place, amazing city for sure.
Did you go to any of those music fests yesterday?
No music festivals yesterday, but I was able to go to Lollapalooza a couple weeks ago, which is, I can see why it's such an incredible festival, just being right near the downtown, easy to get to with the metro. We were able to see the Foo Fighters, they're great performers live.
Yeah, they put on a great show.
Yep.
So anyhow, here's what I feel really blessed about, right? Is we've had this opportunity, and I've had some struggles over the years. I mean, I've built a couple of great businesses, some success, and I've lost everything. And now it's this rebuilding thing. And I'm grateful that you and Rochelle and Ian have all said, hey, you know what? We believe in you, and we're going to make this thing work. And I think that goes back to building strategic alliances, good partnerships, having partners that have jobs that they do well, and bringing all those together so you can continue to do your day job, your other thing, and not have to be focused on everything that needs to get done. Talk a little bit about, partnerships like that and how, the different job functions get to work in for people.
Yeah, so I would say that over the last 6 months or so, I've really come to realize that there are a couple types of individuals. So you need people on the team that are like very visionary in terms of the direction of the company, like leading the ship, which is a critical component. You need an aspect that's like really tied into the finance side, like bookkeeping, accounting, like knows the numbers insides and out. They're going to be able to pull up rent comps, do the analysis into the actual like underwriting. You're going to need people who are like more like that operational organizational skill set. So the ones who are like very like detailed oriented and task oriented and systemized in terms of their approach. And then the last thing is like the operational side, somebody who's going to come into like, consistently understand what you need to do to improve the processes. And all of those, it's a very far and few in between where a person has all those skill sets, which is where, teams come into play, where your limitations are shown. And if you're really transparent and I guess self-aware of what your limitations are, you can find those complementary skill sets. You're able to put together a team where not only do you find, I guess powerhouses in their space, but people who love to do those aspects of the work that you don't love to do. And I'm doing that with my current business, my residential turnkey business. But in addition to this multifamily group that we have going on right here, we have a lot of complementary skill sets that allow us to do much more than we could on our own.
Yeah. And it's been great, I say this all the time, and I'll just say it again, is that you and I would not be able to do this if it wasn't for our other partner, Rochelle,
Yep.
because she has done so much to help pull this together. And I know, what's funny is when we put this together, you and I said, hey, let's go do this. And then I said, a couple of weeks later, I said, hey, I have this other coaching client I think we need to bring in with us. And there was some hesitancy around that, but you know what? It has just worked out so well. And I think that we've meshed and we've gone from, hey, let's try one to let's get a couple hundred units under management here and see where this goes. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. And that's the beauty of multifamily. You put a partnership together, you learn to work well together, and then you scale a little bit. And to go from one deal, 10 units, 20 units, 40 units, to a couple hundred happens pretty easily.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of multifamily, really the key behind it is you have to do multiple deals. With a lot of real estate in general, if you want to make it your full-time profession, it is about deal flow.
Yeah.
Primarily because a lot of the reward is baked into the backside for performance. And that backside is, after 3 years of execution, 5 years, 7 years of turning an older property with poor management in place into something where it's beautiful. The tenants are, love where they're living and they're paying market rents. So it's difficult to manage all of these projects on your own. And in fact, I mean, banks themselves won't back you unless you have a seasoned and veteran team, which is, why I'm so grateful for you, Mike. You're able to get these fantastic conversations going with a lot of brokers that normally, there's normally a little bit hesitancy for them giving us good deals.
Yeah. So, that comes because of relationships. This is such a relationship business. And I think that each of us need to be building relationships with people every day, whether they're brokers, whether they're lenders, whether they're insurance people. The better relationship, the better connections. And this goes back to some of the people that I've known from over the years in the business that have been very helpful for us as well. So there's a strength in that, right?
Yep.
And I think the other thing about a good partnership is we encourage each other, right? Like I watch your work ethic, and I know you watch mine. And between the two, I mean, here we are on Labor Day, and we're live streaming when we should be out playing, and maybe we're going to go do that in a little bit. But
Yep.
Our work ethic, I think continues, and we have another partner and two partners actually that have great work ethic. Let's talk about this real quick though. Underwriting, right? So what I've told people lately is I've said, look, you have to be willing to go through the numbers. You talked about deal flow. And I think I've underwritten probably in 4 or 5 months 100 deals to find 7 that we put LOIs in and showed up as the bridesmaid at that wedding
Yeah.
instead of at the altar, right? And wound up finally getting a deal done. But it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of effort, a lot of conversations, a lot of late nights underwriting and looking at numbers. So, that goes back to that work ethic, right?
Yeah, you have to know the numbers in this space. And I mean, the beauty about underwriting is, you should find someone in your team that loves to play with those analytical calculators, but it gets easier and easier the more repetitions you go through.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the backbone of any type of deal nowadays. You want to make sure that you're underwriting conservatively. You have different stress tests in there, and you prepare for the worst, but you expect. I said, what is it? Prepare for the worst, but shoot for the best is
Right.
what you're going
Right.
for in these types of environments. Because, I mean, my personal opinion is, we got to be careful, especially when we're an advocate and we're a custodian of our clients' money. We need to be very, very protective of that and understand that that's not just money. That's ours, and that's
Yeah.
time. That's people's livelihood. So understanding the background and financials and underwriting is essential to making sure the deal's like gonna be a good deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well spoken. Well spoken. Well, there's one component that is really important in all of this, and that's your private investors. That's your team of people that come to the table with capital to make the deal work. Those are the people that like passive investing, that don't want to be part of the day to day decision making. They don't want to know when a toilet plugs up or you have to change a doorknob. They're the people who like to receive a distribution or a return on their investment
That
every
mailbox
quarter.
money.
Mailbox money, right? I learned that a long time. One of the first seminars I ever went to, I said, "Wow, mailbox money! I like that idea."
Nice.
Yeah. Um, so those people are equally important, and the thing for them is you have to be able to, I think, come across as a dedicated, committed sponsor, somebody who puts these deals together. You have to be able to come across knowledgeable with a strong team. I know if I was vetting a sponsor today that I'd want to find somebody that has some mistakes, that's got some rough edges, that's got some history because they've created some knowledge. Somebody said to me, why would I want to invest with somebody other than you? Because you've already made mistakes and I know you're not going to make them again. And I thought, wow, that's coming from somebody who I just met who has an interest in being a passive investor. So it's just kind of an interesting conversation. So,
Yeah, I love that point. I mean, right now everybody looks like a genius in this current market cycle. From 2012 to 2021, if you put money into any single asset class, you've pretty much made money. So the real skill comes out for those who have had some experience, who know how to handle, I guess, challenges and persevere. And I mean, that's always been one thing that I'd say about myself, that I've been, not to to bloat or anything, but I mean, you need people who have grit, who are willing to like take the problems and solve the problems, and that's what it takes for any of these types of projects.
yeah.
I personally, lost money on deals. I wish I haven't. There've been expensive lessons on the residential side, but that's cultivated my mindset of like, okay, underwrite conservatively, underwrite like the worst case scenario. What's the break even? And then am I okay with that worst case, but we're shooting for the best case.
Yeah.
So,
Well
um,
spoken. You're really analytical. And I think that that's one of the things early on in our partnership that kind of maybe gave us a little rub because I'm not as analytical and but you are. And I think that that complements each other, right? So, hey, if I'm a investor, a passive investor looking for an opportunity today, I want to find a place where people are looking at all of that, right? I come from an old carpenter mentality, measure twice, cut once.
yep.
And I think you and I do that really well because it's like yesterday, we spent a bunch of time, almost 2 hours on the phone talking about construction numbers and research. And you have an opinion, I have an opinion. Sometimes it rubs, but you know what? We always come to a place where it's going to make sense for the investor, for our passive investor, for our partner that comes on that's expecting us to perform well. And I think that'll work for them. Now, one thing that I want to ask you is if you're a passive investor today looking for an opportunity, and not even so much in the opportunity, but what are you looking for? How are you vetting a sponsor today?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, Mike. So that's one of the most important things of the deal that you choose is the team that's in place. What is their experience in this asset class? Is this their first deal? Because know that they're going to make some mistakes, most likely. Is this their 20th deal? They're probably, they've seen the ups and downs. They know the challenges, the common pitfalls. They're going to be able to operate it fairly well, regardless of what type of economic climate that we're in.
Right.
So number one, it's asking about their experience. Also asking about their participation in the deal, asking about references and referrals to see who's worked with them before and what their experience has been like working with them. And I mean, it's getting to know the people, because realize that no matter who you invest with, especially when it comes to a type of syndication that's a 3 to 7 year hold, sometimes longer depending on the market cycle, you want to work with and invest with people that you like, and make sure that the communication is high. So the last thing you want is to invest with somebody where you try and get a hold of them and they're a ghost.
Yeah.
Because that's the most frustrating thing for any type of investor. You jump on the phone call, they're despondent, they don't reply to emails, and that nothing's perfect in this world. Of course, there's always a level of risk with any type of investment, but you want to make sure that the people that you're with are the people that are going to be there to communicate with you through the ups and the downs.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Communication is so important. That's one of those things in every aspect of the real estate business. Just look at. I think that we attract tenants to our properties because of our communication skill. Because I think one of the largest complaints I've heard from tenants over the years is, my last landlord never returned my call. You
Yeah.
know, he wouldn't talk to me, and so this goes back to I think it's a skill that you acquire over time as a business owner, that you just got to talk to people.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes they're tough conversations, and you want to shy away from it. You don't have the energy to do it. However, I've had a couple business partnerships that weren't successful, and it was a breakdown in communication, where an actual project wasn't successful was also breakdown in communication. A lot of problems nowadays come from poor communication.
Yeah.
So it is a skill set that anybody can acquire, but you have to put in time and energy into that. And just like anything that you do in life, if you put in the focused effort and continuously try and improve, it's possible to do. So
Yeah.
just not always easy.
Yeah. What's that old saying that it's simple but it's hard?
Yeah.
Because and it is. So
And I mean, jumping back to like that passive investor lifestyle, I tell my investors all the time, like I'm jealous of where they're at, because they don't see all the late night phone calls, all the challenges with vendors, contractors, property managers that you have to deal with, tenants. Like there's a lot of filtering that gets to the point where the passive investor just collects those checks. A lot of work that goes behind it. So it's a great position to be in. I mean, going back to the rich dad, poor dad mentality, he puts a lot of emphasis on it being a business owner and an investor.
right.
An investor is a very different classification than being a landlord. Right now, I'm playing a little bit of that landlord role out here in Chicago. I joke around that it's a learning experience, because it is. I'm learning a lot more hands-on, but you never want to be a landlord, because as soon as that tenant has your name and phone number, when they get a hold of you, all games are off. There's
Yeah.
like, they know the decision maker, they know who to call if there's problems. So being a passive investor is like a really great place to be. And it's actually something that even seasoned, experienced investors go through. When you have like retirement funds, you can't use that on your own deal, so you invest in somebody else as a passive.
Yeah. Hey, listen, this has been great. We're in this about 20 minutes or so, and I think that shorter is better, less is more.
Yep.
So here's what I'd like to do now is, if you got a closing thought, or you want to tell people how they get a hold of you if they're interested in passive investing or some other opportunity, why don't you tell people how they can reach you, and then I'll close out.
Yeah, the best way would be to shoot me an email. So email is kdugan, Dugan at altus, altusi.com. Or you can shoot me a text, 310-988-5081. I love to talk about real estate and just investing in general. So
Yeah.
look at me as a resource, but I mean, Mike has decades of experience as well. So I'm learning from him. I'm learning from everybody all the time.
Yeah, and don't short sight yourself, because I learned from you too. I think that a good relationship goes both ways. People learn from each other because you might have a better way of doing something. And it's funny. There's some years between us, right, age wise. But you always talk about this. You always say, I want to keep my company young, so I want people younger. So you're even hiring people younger than you because you see where that's going. And I think that that's just a great quality that we can have as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, because if I surrounded myself only with people my age, I'd have this closed off mindset, and you too, right? But I think that younger people around us help us stay more innovative and progressive. So, hey, Kevin, this has been great. Thanks for being here. I
Thanks,
want
Mike.
people to feel like they can call you directly, get a hold of you. Here's what I'd like to tell people. Listen, I am going to make an attempt to be here every Monday and Wednesday at noon. On Mondays, I'm going to try and have a guest on. If you want to be a guest, shoot me a DM. Let me know. I'd love to have you on. We'll just have a conversation about who knows what, but we'll talk about something, whether it's real estate or a book or your special blend of coffee. I don't care, but let's get on. Let's have a conversation. And what I'd like people to do is, if you have a question and you'd like to know something about real estate, get that to me before Wednesday I'll get on and I'll try and answer some of those questions. And if I don't know the answer, I'll go find it from somebody I know in my network, and I'll get that answer for you. So if you're somebody who's looking to invest passively and you want to get more information around that, or if you're looking for somebody who wants to get involved in multifamily, roll your sleeves up. I always tell people, I say, hey, look, I'm just like you. I'm in the trenches right next to everybody else. So come on, we'll help you get started. We'll help you build your business. And I look forward to seeing everybody. You can reach me at Mike at mycoreintentions.com. And then I always, I'll give out my private cell phone number. It's 325-436-7357. Feel free to reach me. And if I can help, I certainly will. Kevin, it's been great. And
Take care, Mike.
we'll see everybody on Wednesday.